Jai Hind everyone, my name is Ankita Rani. I am working as an assistant professor in the department of CSE at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today we discuss the topic resource provisioning and SaaS security, software as a service security, which comes under the topic cloud computing, and the subject code is KML 051. So first, we know about the resource provisioning. In resource provisioning, means they provide the resources to the cloud computing users. Like in this, resource provisioning means the selection, deployment, and runtime management of software. For example, database server management system, load balancers, and hardware resources like CPU, storage, network, for ensuring guaranteed performance for applications. So in resource provisioning, we manage the resources in the software as well as in the hardware. So there are some policies and mechanisms for resource management. Policy typically refers to the principal guiding decisions, and whereas mechanism refers to implement policies. So, resource management mechanism are policies like admission control policy, capacity allocation, load balancing, energy optimization, quality of service guarantees. So, in admission control, we prevent the system from accepting workloads in violation of the high level system policies. Second is capacity allocation. In this, we allocate the resources for individual activation of the services. In load balancing, we distribute the load among the servers, and in energy optimization, we minimize the energy consumption. And in quality of service, in this, it is the ability to satisfy timing or other conditions specified by the SLA. So, this is the resource management mechanism. In resource management mechanism, there are the basically four basic mechanism. In this mechanism, first is control theory, second is machine learning, third is utility based, and fourth is market oriented economic mechanism. So in control theory, they basically uses the feedback to guarantee system stability and predict transient behavior, but can be used only to predict local rather than the global behavior. Next is the machine learning. In machine learning, major advantage of machine learning is that we need a performance model of the system. In this, we need a performance model. So this technique could be applied to coordination of several autonomic system manager. In this, they provide the coordination among the several system managers. Next is the utility based. In utility based approach, we require a performance model and a mechanism to correlate user level performance with the cost. Next is the market oriented mechanism or economic mechanism. In this, such mechanism do not require a model. In this, we do not require any performance model. We just need like example combinatorial auctions for bundle of the resources. Next is cloud provisioning method. So there are the three methods. First is static provisioning method, second is dynamic provisioning, and third is user self provisioning. So in static provisioning, for applications that have predictable and generally unchanging demands and workloads, it means there is no changes in the demand and in demand of the customer, and we don't do any change in this static provisioning. Static means fix. So it is possible to use static provisioning effectively. With advanced provisioning, the customer contract with the provider for services, and provider prepare the appropriate resources in advance of start of the service. So customer is charged a flat fee or bill on a monthly basis. So in the static provisioning, changes are not required. In next is the dynamic provisioning. In dynamic provisioning, if the customer demand is changed, then we change the application. So in case where demand by application may change or very dynamic provisioning technique have been suggested, whereby virtual machines may be migrated on the fly to new compute nodes within the cloud. So with dynamic provisioning, the provider allocate the more resources as they are needed and remove them when they are not. So basically, in demand provisioning, we provide the resources to the customer on the demand, and if the customer does not require any resources, then we remove that resources. Third is user self provisioning. And user self provisioning, also known as the client self service, in this customer can use the self service concept. The customer purchase resource from the cloud provider through a web form or a customer account and paying for the resources with their credit card. So in this, the customer can buy the services by self and pay the fees or bill of that service with a card. So this is the three cloud provisioning method: static provisioning, dynamic provisioning, user self provisioning. So there are some parameters for resource provisioning. First is response time. So in response time, the resource provisioning algorithm design must take minimal time to respond when executing the task. So next is the minimum cost. In minimum cost, from the cloud user point of view, cost should be minimized. And next is revenue maximization. In this is to be achieved from cloud service provider's view. Next is the fault tolerant. In this, algorithm should continue to provide service in spite of the failure of the nodes. Next is the reduced SLA violation. In this algorithm, design must be able to reduce the SLA violation. Next is the reduced power consumption. In this, we make sure that the consumption of power is less, and virtual machine placement and other techniques and migration techniques can reduce the power consumption. So next your topic is intercloud function, and this is also comes under the resource provisioning. So in intercloud there is an intercloud service broker and intercloud. So what's the work of the intercloud service broker? First is service intermediation. Second is service aggregation. Third is service arbitrage. In service intermediation, basically they can behave like a mediator between the provider and the user. So the intercloud service broker enhance given service by improving some specific capability and providing value-added services to the cloud service user. For example, capability improves include management to the access to cloud services, identity management, performance reporting, security enhancement, etc. Next is service aggregation. In this, the intercloud service broker combine and integrate multiple services into one or more new services, and intercloud service broker provides data integration and ensure the secure movement of data between the cloud service user and cloud service the provider. Next is the service arbitrage. In service arbitrage is similar to service aggregation, except the service being aggregated are not fixed. Next is are not fixed. So in this case, the inter-service cloud broker has the flexibility to choose the services from multiple sources. For example, the inter-service cloud broker can use credit scoring service to measure and select the source within the best score. So in cloud service broker, when a cloud service provider plays the cloud service broker role, the requesting entity may be cloud service user and cloud service provider continue to access the brokered service via endpoint function. However, the implementation of access layer will decide whether to serve the request locally or route them to external CSP via the intercloud function. So in the next we discuss about the endpoint function. So the intercloud function receive the request at the endpoint function. Intercloud function first go to the endpoint function. After that, they analyze the request. After that, they select appropriate service logics. And after that, the functions patterns and execute related operations and then invoke the concrete cloud services and resources from external CSPs through cloud service adapters by sending cloud service adaptation requests to cloud service provider and receiving cloud service adaptation response from CSP. So first we discuss what is endpoint function. The endpoint function can include a subscription publication functionality, that is subscribe notify feature for publishing and obtaining notification of different cloud services and resource information from cloud service provider. Next is the endpoint function may route the request to the intercloud function to be routed to external CSPs. Next is the intercloud peering. In intercloud peering happens when two cloud service provider interact with each other. Like this is the CSP1 and this is CSP2, and they both cloud service providers are interact to each other. So this is called intercloud peering. So in this, each CSP could invoke the interfaces offered by other CSP when needed to perform the functions that the CSP would like to delegate to its peer CSP. Next is the intercloud federation. Intercloud federation capability provides an alliance among several CSP in which mutually trusted clouds join together logically through the agreed upon interfaces. So intercloud federation allow CSP to dynamically outsource the resources to other CSP in response to demand variations. So intercloud federation shall provide the identity syndication to support federated authentication across all the sources and federated user across the different CSPs. So the intercloud function support federation capability and may include federation initiator, which initiate operations within a federation relationship, and federation target, which processes operations within a federation relationship. Next is the SaaS security. So there are some security issues in software as a service. So what are the security issues? Like the client has to depend on service provider for proper security measures. Provider must ensure that the multiple users don't get to see each other's data. So this is the important point. Means there are the multiple users in the cloud computing environment. So the provider must ensure that the multiple users don't get to see each other's data. So it becomes important to the user to ensure that the right security measures are in place, and also difficult to get an assurance that the application will be available when needed. So cloud computing providers need to provide some solution to solve the common security challenges that traditional communication system. So this is the diagram of the security issues in SaaS. First is traditional security issues. Second is cloud specific security issues. So in traditional security issues, first is authentication and authorization. Second is availability. Third is data confidentiality. And fourth is virtual machine security. These all are the security issues comes under the traditional security issues. Next is cloud specific security issue. These security issue comes only in the cloud computing environment. First is information security. Second is network security. Third is resource locality. Fourth is cloud standards. And next is data segregation. Next is data access. Next is web application security. In next, data breaches. And in the next, backups and identity management. So this comes under the traditional security issues, and these all are issues comes under the cloud specific security issues. So in traditional security, first we have authentication and authorization. So it varies. It verify the user authenticity using two-step verification, which is based on the password, smart card, and out of band authentication. So in addition, the scheme also provide mutual authentication, identity management, session key establishment, user privacy, and security against many popular attacks. So in this, we require the user authenticity. Next is the availability. Availability of a cloud service provider is also a big concern. If the cloud service is disrupted, it affects more customer than in the traditional model. So this involves making architectural changes at the application and infrastructural levels to add scalability and high availability. At the same time, appropriate action plan for business continuity and disaster recovery needs to be considered for any exigencies as per the guidance. So the availability ensure the reliable and timely access to cloud data or cloud computing resources by the appropriate personnel. Next is the data confidentiality. In data confidentiality refers to the prevention of intentional or unintentional authorized disclosure of the information. In this, the information is secured and in confident manner. So confidentiality in cloud system is related to the areas of intellectual property rights, cover channels, traffic analysis, encryption, and inference. Next is the virtual machine security. In this, virtual machine security, hypervisor and virtual machine used in cloud providers may also have some vulnerabilities, such as vulnerabilities represent an even more serious problem in multi-tenant environment, where compromise of even a single virtual machine can affect all users of the same physical server. So virtualization is one of the main component of the cloud, ensuring that different instances running on the same physical machine or are isolated from each other is a major task of virtualization, and this imposes a major security risk. So some vulnerabilities has been found in all virtualization software, which can be exploited by malicious local user to bypass certain security restrictions or gain privileges. So vulnerability in virtual PC and virtual server could allow elevation of the privilege. Cloud provider might need to reconsider traditional security concern from different angles. Next is the cloud specific security challenges. First we discuss the traditional security challenges. Now we discuss about the cloud specific security challenges. So first is the information security. In information security, the enterprise data is stored outside the enterprise boundary at the SaaS vendor, and SaaS is the software as a service model. So the SaaS vendor must adopt additional security check to ensure data security and prevent data breaches due to the security vulnerabilities in the application or through malicious employee. And this involves the use of strong encryption techniques and EC2. There's a cloud service which is called EC2. Administrators with the business need to require to use their individual cryptographically strong, secure shell. So EC2 administrator can use the strong secure shell key to gain access to a host. Next is the network security. In network security, um, the sensitive data is obtained from enterprise, processed by the SaaS application, and stored at the SaaS vendor end. So in this involves the use of strong network traffic encryption technique as such as secure socket layer. In this, we use the secure socket layer and transport layer security TLS for the security. These two layers, these two techniques are encryption technique are used in the network security. Next is the resource locality. In resource locality, in a SaaS model of cloud environment, end user use the service provided by the cloud providers without knowing exactly where the resources for such services are located, possibly in other legislative domains. This poses a potential problem when dispute happens, which is sometimes beyond the control of cloud provider. So recently there is a recent Dropbox user have to agree to the term of service which grant the providers the right to disclose user information in compliance with laws and law enforcement request. So secure SaaS model must be capable of providing reliability to the customer on the location of the data of the customer. Next is the cloud standard. In cloud standard, and this way to achieve interoperability among clouds and to increase their stability and security, cloud standards are needed across different standard developing organizations. For example, current storage services by a cloud provider may be incompatible with those of other providers. So in order to keep their customers, cloud providers may introduce so-called sticky services which create difficulty for the users if they want to migrate from one provider to the other. Example, Amazon S3 is incompatible with IBM Blue Cloud or Google Storage. So this is the cloud standard. In this, one cloud is incompatible to the another cloud, another organization's cloud. So there are currently large number of standard bodies like IEEE Cloud Computing Standard Study Group, ITU Cloud Computing Focus Group. Next is Cloud Security Alliance, CSA. Next is Distributed Management Task Force, Storage Networking Industry Association, Open Grid Forum, Open Cloud Consortium, and Organization for the Advancement of Structured Information Standards. So these all are the cloud standard in today's world. Next is the data segregation. Data segregation is multi-tenancy is one of the major characteristics of cloud computing. As a result of the multi-tenancy, multiple users can store their data using the applications provided by the SaaS. So in such situation, data of various users will reside at same location, and intrusion of data one user by another become possible in this environment. And this intrusion can be done either by hacking through the loop in the application or by injecting cloud code into the SaaS system. So these are the two techniques for data segregation. So client can write mass code and inject into the application. If the application executes this code without verification, then there is high potential of intrusion into the other's data. So the service should be intelligent enough to segregate the data from the different users. Malicious user can use application vulnerabilities to handcraft parameters that bypass the security check and among the sensitive data of the other tenants. Next is the data access. Data access issue is mainly related to security policies provided to the users while accessing the data. So in a typical scenario, a small business organization can use a cloud provided by some other provider for carrying out its business processes. So this organization will have its own security policies based on which each employee can have access to a particular set of data. So security policy may entail some considerations wherein some of the employees are not given access to the certain amount of data. So in this, SaaS model must be flexible enough to incorporate the specific policies put forward by the organization. Next is the web application security. In web application security, software as a service deployed over the internet or is deployed to run behind a firewall in local area network or the personal computer. So the key characteristics include network-based access, management of commercially available software, and managing activities from central location rather than each customer site. So in this, they provide the security at the central location. Next is the software which is provided service reside in the cloud without tying up with the actual user. This allow improvising the software without inconveniencing the other. Security holes in the web application thus create a vulnerability to the SaaS application. So the challenge with the SaaS security is not any different than with that of any other web application technology. However, one of the problem is that traditional network security solutions such as network firewalls, network intrusion detection, and prevention system, IDS and IPS do not adequately address this problem. Next is data breaches. In data breaches, the cloud becomes a high value target. So since data from various users and business organization lie together in a cloud environment, breaching into the cloud environment will potentially attack the data of all the users. So in this, all the data are affected in the cloud users. Next is the backup. The SaaS vendor needs to ensure that all the sensitive data is regularly backed up to facilitate quick recovery in case of disasters. So when the disaster happens, the data must be backed up. In the case of cloud vendors such as Amazon, the data are at rest in S3 is not encrypted by default. So the user need to separately encrypt their data and backup so that it cannot be accessed or tampered with by unauthorized parties. Next is the identity management and sign-on process. In this, identity management is an area that deals with identifying individuals in a system and controlling the access to the resources in that system by placing restrictions on the established identities. So, in such scenario, provisioning and deprovisioning of the users in the cloud become very crucial. Okay, thank you, students.